In a Wild Nights First, I am recording from the island of Jamaica. I'm an international sensation, people. But to say getting here didn't have its obstacles, well, it wouldn't be a Rocky Powell travel story if it didn't. First things first, if you didn't know, it is not easy to travel internationally during COVID. Let me tell you. In my regular life, I'm a sleeper. I go to sleep and then I wake up when I'm supposed to wake up. It's a really mutually beneficial situation for me and my body. The days leading up to Jamaica, I'm nervous. The hoops you gotta jump through to get into this country are hoopy, so I'm anxious. I gotta get my COVID test. Maybe not for you, but in my personal life, the amount of times that I've been having to get COVID tested lately has revved back up again. Hate to tell you, people. I'm tired of going to my normal city MD. It's crowded. It is a reminder of my tax bracket in an unpleasing way, and there's no easy way to get there unless you walk 22 minutes. C'est la vie, mon chéri. There is an urgent care 5 minutes away from my house that I never utilized. I wanted to utilize it. And to get into Jamaica, you specifically need an antigen test. So I call the local urgent care I so desperately wanted to go to, and I say, hey, do you give COVID antigen rapid tests? We'll have someone call you within the next 30 to 40 minutes. Oh, you can't just tell me now? Nope. You know what? Fine. I gotta charge my phone anyway. All good. So, an hour goes by. No call. I call back. Hey, I specifically need a COVID antigen test rapidly. Do you give these? I'll have somebody call you back in 30 to 40 minutes. No. You already said you would have someone call me back, and you didn't. And you close in an hour, so can you just maybe ask someone and tell me? No, ma'am. But I will put you down as urgent since this is the second time you've called. Great. I decide to risk it. I'm going to walk there. Worst case, I get there, they don't do it, and I go back to Old Familiar, City MD. Best case, they do it, and I don't have to go there. I make my way to the secret urgent care near me, no chance I'm sharing the name, and I get to the counter after I pull the push 4 times with no success. Embarrassing. Hi, do you do COVID antigen rapid tests? We sure do. From start to finish, I am in and out of this place. I couldn't have had a better experience. Well, the nurse who did my line of questioning did rub her entire nose with her bare hand and sniffled for longer than anyone who was getting interviewed by a nurse for a COVID test would want to watch their nurse do, but we digress. I leave. I got errands. I gotta buy edibles and some other last-minute treats. I'm out for another hour. As I'm approaching my house, I get a phone call from a number I don't recognize. My heart stops. This is COVID-19 calling. Why else would my phone be ringing at this time with a number I don't recognize after I just got a COVID test? I answer, terrified. Hi, I'm returning a call about a COVID antigen test. Yeah, I just got it. Are you giving me my results? No, I'm just returning the call from earlier. I think you had a question. Oh, yeah. No. That was a couple hours ago. I've already gone and done it. I told myself, don't be sassy with this guy. I'm sure he's just returning the call as fast as he could. It doesn't matter that the clinic's closed and I already took care of it on my own. This is obviously an automated call list. Sir, you have a great night. 20 minutes go by. Again, another unknown number. This one is them telling me I have COVID-19. This is COVID-19 herself calling. I have it, and I'm not going to Jamaica. Hello? Hi, I'm returning a call you made to our facility. Yes. Someone just called. Can you take me off whatever queue I'm on? I figured it out. I check my email. I'm COVID-free. Thank the gods. Next step, I gotta fill out my travel authorization. The invitation to the wedding says I need to have it filled out 7 days before I get on the plane. All the air from my lungs escapes because we were 2 days away from takeoff, baby. But eureka! My travel authorization went through. I made my travel pack list and I'm feeling good. Do I still wake up in a panic at 6 a.m.? Yeah, 100%. Travel during COVID ain't easy breezy, beautiful cover girl, it's hard. The next day I'm worrying that I still forgot something, so let me check the Visit Jamaica travel website. Big mistake, huge. It seems they require your COVID test to be authorized by this thing and done in a specific lab and accredited, and I cause a panic in my friend group, and I tell the girls and we all collectively freak out. We don't have our COVID test done in this place that they want us to have it done. Great. Not going to Jamaica. Luckily, we touched base with some of the people that were already there, and we realized that they had gotten their tests done at random pharmacies and CVS in the back of horse carts, and we're fine, Mon. No worries. Another unnecessary scare. Now we're cooking. No more issues. My Uber's taking me to the airport. I get to the airport with plenty of time. I get a tequila soda at the airport bar. And listen to me, if you don't drink at the airport, you're not better than me, okay? When Kara, my most wonderful amiga and travel buddy, met me at the bar, we were ready to rock. And if you want to listen to Kara's beautiful voice, be sure to listen to the Anastasia Washington episode and you will learn why she is such a ride or die. So we get on the plane, and we had seats A and C, so we could get a little elbow room maybe. And of course, 2 different people are sitting on both sides of our seats. We got ready to say something, and the woman in the aisle seat says, I know, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong seat, I'll move. And she gets up, no trouble. Now we got a woman on the window seat. Hi, you're in our seat. Oh, yeah. And just stares at us blankly. That's our seat. Can I just sit here? And both of us said at the exact same time, no. That's not how planes work. You don't just pick a seat. It's not a bus. She moves to the aisle and coughs the entire flight. Don't worry, be happy. She probably gave us COVID 18, 19, and 20. Shout out to Omicron. Next stop is customs. The amount of line cutters at this airport would have blown your mind. Or maybe not. Maybe you're a line cutter. Stop cutting. Once we made it through the real life video game that was customs, we had to make our way to duty free and get some alcohol for the group. Kara goes to get our luggage and I proceed to buy 10 bottles of liquor. We're staying at a villa, baby. We are going all out. How many people are you traveling with? This is what she asked me. 1, she's getting our luggage right now. You can only leave with 3 bottles each. Oh, but I want 10. Well, you can try your luck with customs, but it's probably not going to happen like that. Can I return them if customs won't let us take them through? Yeah, you can. Then I look behind me, and in this teeny tiny duty-free liquor store, there are 15 people waiting to pay. You know what, lady? Let's just make it 3 each. So now she gets her coworker involved to redo this whole transaction. People are pissed, and I haven't even told you the best part. When Kara comes in, she comes back in a tizzy because when she went to get our bags, they were just thrown in the middle of the airport all by themselves. Excellent. Now we got our bags. We're out of the duty free. I take a quick pee break, and when I come back, Kara tells me that some guy just had his bag stolen in duty free, the exact same duty free we were in minutes before, I tell you. Now we're running into friends who landed an hour after us. People are looking at us like, what are you still doing in the airport? It's time to get out of this fucking airport. We get a couple of red stripes for the road, get in our bus, and make our way to our villa. And now, the Jamaican Paradise wedding weekend can begin. Yeah, man. It's time for the Rocket Run. Welcome to the Rocky Rundown, where you get to learn a little bit about my week. Party God Squad, hello. Did you have a great week? I sure did. I'm reporting live from Jamaica. Yeah, man. My friends Julie and Maddie just got married in what had to be one of the most fun and epic weddings I've ever been to in my entire life. All of the guests were staying at this villa-style resort with palm trees everywhere, housekeepers, private chefs, real rich bitch shit. Unfortunately, unless we're talking love and light, your girl is not a rich bitch, so we charging this bad boy like the running of the bulls, baby. Our first night here, we grabbed a little hotel bar dinner, and we had this epically kind bartender named Henry. And then there was his partner in crime, O'Shea. Oh, O'Shea, O'Shea, O'Shea. He had real I'm the captain now energy. Needless to say, he was all up in our negrills. Just kidding, I'm in Montego Bay. He did give me a free shot of Hennessy, so that's a win. The next night was the welcome dinner for everyone. I actually told myself to eat slowly because this meal was so good, I did not want to get seconds. Because if I had gotten seconds, then I would have gotten thirds. And if I had gotten thirds, what the hell are fourths? That's how delicious this food was. The entertainment for the evening was an acoustic guitarist singing the most amazing, gentle covers to all your favorite songs with a Jamaican twist. Then the next day was the day we're all here for, the wedding. All I can say is, wow. It took place in this intimate alcove, steps away from the beach. There was a steel drum band playing the family down the aisle. Maddie and Julie looked picturesque. I'll never in my life forget the way they looked that day. We all sat down family style at this huge table, and after another delicious meal, we did some indoor dancing, only to be led outside on the beach via a conga line to dance in the sand. We had our own private bonfire, there were drinks, there were Jamaican beef patties, it had it all. We danced until there was sand in every single crack of your ass. It was truly one of the most unforgettable nights of my life. Wild is the word. Julie and Maddie, I wish you all of the love in the entire world. You're made for each other. The Jamaican party is not over yet, man. Tonight, our beautiful Chef Joy is making us an authentic Jamaican dinner, so your girl's about to chow down on some goats and suck on some oxtails. That brings us to Rocky's highest thoughts, my most stoned thoughts of the week. Party God Squad. You know I'm on island time right now, so you know I'm smoking that dank-ass Jamaican weed, man. My highest thought this week after blazing it up Friday night was intense. Jamaican weed hits different. I stood looking out at our front yard. It's like something out of the movie Pleasantville. It just looks so good, it looks fake. Or it looks like the TV show Desperate Housewives, just so well maintained and kept, it's too good to be true. My Bob Marley ass just stood there looking out into the yard, and I created a whole scenario about how O'Shea, our good friend O'Shea, was going to come back here and try to make me his wife. I figured he looked up my villa number and he wouldn't be able to resist. Then I got scared of commitment and locked me and Kara in the room. Smoke Jamaican weed at least once. You might get your own Jamaican wedding out of it. My guest this week is comedian Christiana Jackson. Her wild word was devil, and her story is all horns and thorns. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You can follow me at Wild Nights with Rocky on TikTok and Instagram, at Wild Nights Pod on Twitter. I'd like to thank past and future you for writing that amazing review on Apple Podcasts, and a big thank you to the tried and true members of the Party God Squad who have already left a review. It really, really does make a difference, so thank you. If you'd like to see me and all the faces of my beautiful guests, every episode is on YouTube with extended interviews just for your eyes. And now, I'm going back to the island, but you, please enjoy my Wild Nights conversation with Christiana Jackson. Christiana, welcome. Thank you for doing the podcast.
Oh my God, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. You're looking good. Your energy is feeling good. We're going to have a good time. You're
Yeah,
fresh
I'm
off that
excited to have it.
vacation energy, though, right?
I would say, the thing about me that I've realized is I'm good at taking trips. I'm
Uh-huh.
not good at vacationing.
You like to keep busy.
Yeah, it's really not good. I'm good at traveling somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
but actually like doing nothing and relax. Terrible at that, and I need to learn how to do it. I call it, when I say I have New York vacations, which means I work throughout most of it. It's not good.
It's just it's a scenery change for you.
Yes.
Scenery
And
change
then
is
even then it's like, wait, have I been outside today? So that's it's not I gotta learn how to get into vacation mode.
you got to learn how to get into vacation mode. Even today, today is Sunday. Today is the Lord's Day, and you and I have chosen to work on the Lord's Day. So maybe we are doing a little bit of work for the Devil?
I think so. The devil is has I've come in contact with the devil actually. So
Yes, yes, she has come in contact with the devil. Her wild word was devil, if you couldn't already tell. So let's get right into your wild night story. Christiana, give it to us. Devil.
okay, well, okay. So I was just in Mexico. I've been traveling
Mhm.
Mexico for almost 10 years now. And yeah, replicated my life in New York, which
Mhm.
was, working by day and then hoeing at night. So, and I'm used to that. That's I have my whole
Yeah.
roster of dudes
Oh, I
that I
love it.
hit up on WhatsApp when I'm heading back to Mexico.
Yes.
And the thing is, you gotta plan it out because Mexican dudes work like 72-hour weeks. So you gotta, and then there's always gonna be someone's gonna be busy, someone's
Right.
gonna be cheating on their girl, and then
Of
their girl
course.
will find out before, so it'll get. Oh yeah, Rocky. Let me tell you something.
Tell
There
me.
were four dudes who magically just out of nowhere blocked me on WhatsApp, and I was like, "Oh, all of you got caught cheating.
Yep.
Okay, got it."
Mm-hmm.
Which is
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So this is why you have to have a roster of men because it's like, okay, some people are gonna be busy working, some people are gonna get caught trying to cheat.
Yes.
Some people are just gonna be, whatever, like running errands, being an adult. So yeah.
And in Mexico, can you tell us how many are on your current roster?
I feel like I've burned. I'm like I hate everyone at this
Oh,
point,
gotcha,
which
gotcha, gotcha.
does make me feel like is Mexico home now that I hate all the men there too? It's like okay, well, it's like I'm in New York. I hate everybody.
That's amazing.
Except for the devil, actually. Except for the devil. The devil was the best man that I met on that trip.
El Diablo.
Yeah, El Diablo, El Diablo. So that's the thing so yeah, this was the last guy that I hooked up with. It was the fourth guy on the trip.
Uh-huh.
And it was very all of it was very unexpected. I was falling asleep. So it rained the whole time I was there. It
Which
rained.
part were you in?
I was in Playa del Carmen.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like an hour.
Down.
It's between Cancun and Tulum for people who
Mm-hmm.
haven't traveled Mexico.
Yep.
So it's an hour from each of them. But anyway, so I was in Playa, and it rained all week, so I was like tired. I got a cold, whatever, whatever. I started feeling better. Shout out to Theraflu. So
Hey,
started getting
hey.
better, and I was like, I think I'm gonna go to bed. And then I saw that I matched with this. You know how sometimes I don't know. Are you on dating apps,
I
Rocky?
am, yeah. I have been giving Hinge a rest because I found it to be a
Oh.
lot of conversation and small talk with no action. So I'm very actively on Tinder. I feel like Tinder's made a comeback.
Yeah, Tinder is my bread and butter, I gotta
Hmm.
say.
Yeah,
I
I
love
like it.
Tinder. Yeah, yeah. Tinder is it's a good time. I mean, it's
Yeah.
terrible. It's also a
But
good
it's
time.
terrible. It's a good time. And now they have the subsection, so you can do like, do you want somebody just for tonight? Do you want a wedding date? Do you want to?
Oh, I didn't even notice
Oh, I
that.
will show you. I will show you. They do the subsections.
Oh no, I don't. So much work. They have
I
a
know.
rewards program now, which makes me. I'm like, they never want us off this shit. What the
Now
fuck
that
is
I
a
didn't
rewards
know. That I
program?
didn't know.
Yeah, maybe I've just been on for too long. They're like, hey, get some reward. It's like, isn't the dick supposed to be the reward? Like, what
Your
the fuck's
punch
going
card
on?
for Tinder.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, this might be. I've been on here too long. So anyway, so you know how sometimes you swipe on someone, you're like, whatever. And there's some people that you're like, oh, I hope I match with this
Yes,
guy.
yes, yes.
So he was one of them. I was like, oh, I did match with this guy. Okay,
Nice.
cool. So then I hit him up and I was like, oh, hey, what's up? I think which I don't always shoot my shot, but something
Me neither.
something told me. Something
Yeah.
told me. Reach out to this guy. So I was like, I reached out to him. I was like, oh, hey, I think I told him he was handsome. He was a good looking dude.
Yeah. If you're
Which
shooting your shot, that on Tinder, you know they're handsome.
oh yeah. Let me tell you, me and my fupa pull some dudes. I don't give a fuck what my body looks like.
Your body is
I
beautiful,
pull
and so
some.
are you.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
I just think I'm like I pull some fucking dudes, man.
Yeah.
Nobody would think it, but
They
anyway,
would be so lucky.
word. So anyway, so then he was like, I liked that he was very proactive. He was very
Yeah.
quick and responsive. He was like, oh, he's like, oh, hey, you look sexy. I was like, well, that's true, man. My thirst
Yeah.
traps are great. So he's like, when are we gonna meet? And I was like, oh, perfect. And then I was like, well, I have a headache. I need to take a nap because it was
Yeah.
true. So I didn't want to like hang out and then just be like not in my element, right?
Let me
So I was
ask
like,
you this. Was
oh,
he a local or was he a
no.
vacationer?
Very good question.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. He was on vacation.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, when are we gonna meet up? And I was like, oh, well, I said, listen, I should take a nap, man, and I'll be good to go.
Yeah.
And he was very nice about it. He was like, okay. He's like, oh yeah, that's cool. I'm just having a drink somewhere. Like whenever you wake up, we can meet up. And it's funny because I was like, oh, on that topic of like, is he on vacation? I was like, oh, are you living down here? Because there's so many expats down there, just people avoiding the vaccine. It's like there's a very interesting collection of people in Playa right now. But
Really? Okay, because it's not mandatory, obviously. It's not mandatory for anyone, but they're just down there doing their thing.
oh yeah, it's a real hodgepodge of
Gotcha.
messy people.
Gotcha.
So I remember I said to him and I was like, oh, are you? I said, he's like, oh, I've been traveling for a while. And I said, oh, are you on the run from Interpol? And he was like, he was like, oh, even if I said, don't worry, you can tell me I won't snitch. And he was like, even if you snitch, they couldn't catch me. And now I'm like, oh, of course, because he was the devil. Okay, anyway,
And
but
what is Interpol?
Interpol is like international
Oh, police?
cops.
Oh, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha, 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 gotcha.
Yeah. So like let's say like if you commit a crime like a different country and it's like a massive thing, then they'll get Interpol on the fucking on
Horn.
your tail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
But so yeah, he was cool. He's also a Capricorn, which was
Ooh,
usually I don't fuck with Capricorns because
gotcha.
they can be very boring and they tend to not give dick pics. But I was like it's very rare.
When you know a habit of a sign based on whether or not they give dick pics, you're a professional.
Oh, yeah, I was like, well, whatever. He's fucking hot. Also, okay, so he's from Switzerland, which
Oh God.
word. It was funny
Yeah.
because this is the thing. Okay, Rocky, I don't really match with white dudes that
Okay.
much. And then when I do, a lot of times it's like some racist out
I
the gate,
know.
racist
Man,
shit
white
like
men, they are
yeah, like,
just
oh, I love Ebony. I'm like, I'm not a
yeah.
porn category or
Mm-mm.
a magazine from the 70s. Like,
No.
I'm a person. Or
Hmm.
like, oh, I always wanted to try some chocolate. It's always I'm always just like, man, white dudes, I try, and then
Yeah.
you do weird shit. Or I matched with a guy early on the trip. He was from Finland and he just wanted to spank. He's like, I'm not even interested in sex. I just love spanking. And I'm like, you think I came to Mexico to get spanked by a white man? You must be out of your fucking mind. You're
No,
fucking
sir. No,
nut.
sir. I'll spank
Yeah.
you, but it ain't
No,
happening the
no,
other way
not
around.
even. I'm just like, I don't want any part of the scene because obviously you're just being also just very selfish. But anyway,
Yeah.
but I looked at this guy's Instagram, the Swiss dude. I looked at his Instagram and I was like, oh, he has black friends. So that's good. There
It's a
won't be
good
this.
first step.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, at least at the very least he'll feel comfortable. Because sometimes so men are very bizarre creatures and they'll get uncomfortable. And you're like, hey man, I'm just a bitch trying to get some dick. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what race I am. Like, let's like focus and give me some dick, I'll give you some pussy. Like, what the fuck? But anyway, I was like, oh, okay, cool. At least there won't be this weird uncomfortability aspect
Yeah.
to it. So anyway, so I took my nap. Whoa, no, we exchanged WhatsApp info. I
Uh-huh.
sent him a nude right away, set the vibe.
Off the bat.
Yeah,
Yes.
send him my classic. I always start every man off with the one I know is on the deep web, so that way
Yes.
it's not. I'm like, if you try to sell it, it's all over
Yeah,
anywhere.
they got it
Everywhere.
already.
Yeah, yeah. But and then he did send me a dick pic back, and I was like, oh, it was a good one. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, well, it's a nice dick.
This is great. This is
He's a
great, Mr.
nice.
Capricorn.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow,
First
this
in
is
your
very.
category.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is rarity. All right,
Yeah.
Cap, dick pic on deck. I love it.
Hmm.
I love it. So anyway, so then I took my nap, and he was like, maybe you need to sleep for like more than 20 minutes, and I was like, no, I'll be fine, but thank you. It's very considerate of you.
Appreciate
So
it.
they came over. I stayed in a doorman building
Hmm.
because I didn't want. I was alone, so it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, be careful,
A bitch has
especially.
standards.
Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
also because it's a matter of if I'm telling dudes ahead of time, like, hey, there's a security guard. If anyone has any like ill intentions, they already know, like, hey, man, there's gonna be like a dude, there's gonna be
Yeah,
cameras, so whatever.
exactly.
You're trying to come over and rob me, it's not gonna happen. Anyway, so I went downstairs. The security guard was smoking a cigarette. I went downstairs, met him. He was tall,
Yeah.
probably like 5'10". I'm only
Hmm.
5'4".
Perfect.
Perfect. Cute. Okay, cool. Very warm, gave me out. I was like, all right, cool. We get in my apartment. I was like, hey, do you want some water? And he was like, yeah, we'll have enough time for water and conversation later. And I was like, all right, well. He is a Capricorn. It is
Yeah.
late. He's being like time efficient. Very
Strategic.
smart. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, all right, yeah. But then he just got right into it. I was like, oh, all right. Well, I guess we're just gonna forget. No,
Yeah.
start
We got
fucking.
to
All right.
fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was a different. I mean, usually men sometimes will take hours to make a move. So I was like,
Right.
oh, okay. But the foreplay was good, having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. And he's like, I just gonna get naked. I just wanna. He's like, I'll feel more comfortable. I was like, yeah, get naked.
Yeah.
And I did kind of say, I was like, oh, he's got a lot of tattoos. And then I was like, what are some of these tattoos? But I was like, whatever. But it's a dick. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah.
was kind of like, okay,
That
interesting.
was interesting. Yeah.
So then, you know, I got naked too. Okay, cool, cool, cool. And then he's like, oh, you're so beautiful. I was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Compliments are
Give
good.
it to me. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And he's like, you know, I just really wanna like please you and for us to enjoy and like for you to enjoy me and have a good time. I was like, all right, cool. So he did bring condoms, which was good.
Top notch.
Uh yeah, now I'm back on using condoms.
Yeah. It's for the
Now the
best.
apocalypse.
Yeah.
I got peak apocalypse. I didn't give a fuck. My pussy was bouncing the tune. I mean, I'm like, we're all dying tomorrow. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Well, it's also
Yeah.
because, most condoms don't fit most men, is the thing. Condoms are just so, so tight for most men.
Actually, I will say this for anyone, a little travel tip. If you are going to Mexico and you do have, I would say, a normal to bigger dick, bring condoms because the condoms are smaller down there.
Ah,
Legitimately.
interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, 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 yeah. I was there early. There early just for 4 months, and I matched with a Canadian dude, and he was like, "Hey, I'm having trouble finding a place to buy condoms." He's like, "What should I do?" I said, "You should have packed your own. You fucking
Yeah.
amateur." I was like,
That's a hot tip, actually.
"Yeah, if you have a regular too big, if you have a big, you
We're
gotta
talking
pack your
six
own condom."
plus.
Yeah, I mean they're not that the dicks are pretty small down there.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Word to the wise doesn't mean they don't know how to use them. It's just, word to the
Yeah, yeah, they're
wise.
Mexican dudes. They know how to compensate. You know,
Yeah.
they work 72-hour weeks. Their day off, they have a good time. You know, somehow between working and raising multiple shady families and cheating on the girls,
And
they
blocking you
know
on
how to be
WhatsApp.
beloved. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Blocking and unblocking me on WhatsApp. They figured out how to fuck really well. But
Delicious. Delicioso.
yeah, the condoms are yeah, so he had his own condoms. But then so as soon as he put his dick in, I was like, oh, okay. You know how sometimes okay, listen,
Yeah.
I'm a hoe. It's fine. I'm
Let's
fine with
talk
it.
about it. Let's talk about
I
it.
am a hoe. I have a lot of very good sex with
Mm-hmm.
men. But when he started fucking me, I was like, I became suspicious immediately. I was like, this is a little too good.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. You're
Have
like,
I don't
this
know if you
is
ever yeah,
wild. Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, this is a little too good, even for me. Which and I have
That's
good
where the
sex a lot.
digmatization comes in.
Yeah, luckily I have my tolerance built up, so that's why I was
Mm,
like, I can handle having like dick this good. But even for me, I was like, oh, this was totally okay. What the hell's going on here?
I'm on
And
to
so
you, kind of thing.
yeah, I was like, oh, what? And then so we're having great sex, and
Uh
he's
huh.
just focused on me. He was like, yeah, you know, I just want you. He's like, you know, your pleasure is my pleasure, and blah 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 blah. It was fucking hot.
And
I
he had
was
an accent too,
screaming.
right? A little Swiss accent.
Yes,
Hmm.
he's French because you know they speak three languages. He's French Swiss.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they speak German, Italian, and French in Switzerland.
Okay.
He's French Swiss. He's like I think 20, 30 minutes from the French border.
Got it.
Yeah. So so yeah, so we're having a good time. And I was like as he's fucking me though, I started thinking like, wait, who is this person? I was like, wait a
Hmm.
second. Wait. Who is this guy? Like who just came out off the street,
Yeah.
got naked, and started fucking the shit out of me. And then I looked at his teeth and I was like, man, his teeth are a little sharp. Like his canines.
Oh
I was
no.
like, they are a little fucking sharp. And then I was looking at his tattoos and I was like, okay. One was like a wolf, which I've actually fucked a lot of men with wolf tattoos. I
Okay.
don't know why. I don't know if that's something in my chart, but but the wolf was like an aggressive, howling kind of mouth open wolf on his chest.
Not a
Then
friendly wolf.
no, then he had some kind of Nostradamus thing on his arm, and
Okay.
then definitely a tattoo of a devil on his leg. And I was like, "Oh man, you're fucking the white devil. That's
Yes.
what happened. That's who this man is." I've never listen. I've never believed. I believe in God. I've never
Yeah.
believed there's a devil. Never.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's how good this man's dick is. That you're suddenly like, is this man El
Devil dick.
Diablo?
Yes,
Is this
devil dick.
man the fucking devil? That he's come in, like, is Louis Farrakhan right? Is the white devil exist? And all this time, I've thought, okay, this guy's racist. And then I should have been listening this whole time, like, damn, Louis Farrakhan, you were right. This
You were
man's the
right,
white
Farrakhan.
devil.
Yep.
What the hell's going on? I mean, it was that good. I was
Yeah.
just like, oh, Jesus Christ. It felt way too good. But then also, I didn't ask any questions. That's the thing. That's what I learned about myself. I was like, you'll let the white devil just fuck you. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. The devil needs pussy. You know,
He
we're
sure
having a
does.
great time. So it's fine. The only thing I asked him was, do you want me to suck your dick? That's the only thing I asked the devil. And then I let him continue to please me.
Was he like, no, I can
Uh,
suck my own dick? And then he just went down on himself.
that probably would have made me even more impressed, actually. I'd be like, you know what? That's wow, you're a pleaser for me and for you. It's
Oh my
incredible.
God.
So we stopped having sex. Well, yeah, we didn't just stop, but like, we both came. It was great,
Finished, yes.
very intense. Very, very intense. And then I just didn't know what to say. I was literally like, oh, okay. I was like, I wasn't expecting any of that. I was like, all right. And he was like, oh, what were you expecting? And I was like, I don't know. But
Not that.
I was like literally speechless. Like I wasn't expecting any of that at all. And he was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. Anyway, then it was time for water and conversation. He wasn't
Mhm.
bullshitting.
Mhm.
We drank water, we talked for hours.
Nice.
And then I found out because I did tell him, I was like, I gotta be honest with you. At one point when we were fucking, I did think you were the white devil. I was like, I gotta come clean,
Yeah.
gotta confess. And he thought that was hilarious. And also turns out he's part black. I was like, oh,
Oh.
now this all makes sense. You weren't trying to steal my soul. You were genuinely attracted to me because you were also part black. That's how few white dudes hit on me and fuck me. That I was like, this man has got to be out here
You knew
trying
there
to
was something
steal
about him.
souls. Well, it's actually funny because when I first swiped on him, I remember looking at his pictures and thinking like, I was like, I don't know if he's like all the way. I don't care. I didn't care. I just
Yeah.
thought he was hot. But in my head, I was like, I don't know if he's like all the way white.
Right.
Which I didn't care.
Right. But
But then
you
when
can
I
tell.
yes, but then also when he was then, like came in off the street, fucked the shit out of me with his devil tattoo, I was like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
he's not part black, he's part devil." But turns out
The devil part was the white part.
no, it just turns out he's a good dude who
Yeah.
likes to please. And
Yeah.
actually he gave me really, really good advice. He was saying to me, he's like, I used to work with older people like in his job and they were
Mhm.
really kind people. And he said that he's like, what I learned from them when we had conversations about sex is it's good to have sex with kind people.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it makes so much sense. He's like, like because a kind person is going to be a good lover because they're not going to be selfish. They're going to be about you as much as it is about them. And then that's where I was like, oh, he's just like a nice dude. He's not the
Yeah.
devil. He's not the devil of any race.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
he's just like a nice dude who fucks well. But then I asked him, I said, oh, is that why you swiped on me? Because you thought I was kind. And he was like, no, I liked your tits. And I was like, oh, okay. That works.
Wow.
I'm not out here on Tinder putting my kindness in a bikini top. So I was like, okay, I'm glad.
Kindness first.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, I don't want these men thinking I'm a kind person. They can't handle a hoe with a heart.
Oh
They
my
one
God,
or
a
the
hoe with a
other.
heart.
But he was really, really cool. We talked a lot and then we fucked a second time. It
Of
was
course.
also amazing.
Yeah.
And then he was like, what time is it? I was like, oh, it's like 6:30. And he was like, what? He was like, I wanted to wake up early because he was gonna just try to figure out life the next day. And I was like,
Right,
yeah.
right, right.
And yeah, but it was a fun, wild night.
That sounds incredible, first and foremost. And I have to say, I relate differently, but the same when it comes to matching with white dudes on Tinder because I'm biracial, but present much like your
Ah,
friend from Switzerland. So people will not know that I'm half black right on first meeting me,
yeah.
or like even having an interaction with me. So white people tend to sometimes say really racist things,
Oh, I'm sure.
and it's like, oh god, why did you say that, like, you know what I mean? And then it's
Yeah.
like, okay, now we're done. So I've made it a point, if I do go on dates or match with white dudes, I'm like, listen, like, I'm going to just be upfront with you because I can't handle hearing the like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
passive aggressive or like nonchalant. I guess nonchalant is a better word. I can't handle the nonchalant racism,
Yeah.
thinking we're like homies, like we're not homies, like you can't, like, it's, I'm
Yeah.
not going about to agree with you on that. So I think it's interesting that and the one guy that you were like, have you ever had an experience like that? I have, and he happened to be biracial too, but I
Ah.
didn't know until he told me. And
Yeah.
yeah, and it was like this whole thing, and then I was like, but wait, you, me, we, but he was a complicated mess in his own right. But now now with this gentleman, that was it, that was the one and done. Did you continue to speak to him on WhatsApp afterwards?
Oh yeah, because I told him, because I did tell him, I was like, oh, I think this is gonna be he knows that I'm a comic. So I
Uh-huh.
was like, listen, man, I do think this is gonna end up being a funny joke about me
Yeah.
fucking the devil. And he did think it was hilarious. So I have told him, I have like kept him updated when I write sections of the joke. Like I sent one to him the other day and
Oh
he thought it
wow.
was funny. And like he did say, I'm like, yeah, well, I'm like, I'm working on the joke. Once it's, there, I'll send you like a video of it. I mean, truly, I would love to fuck him again,
Of
but
course,
it's
that was my
also
next
like,
question.
oh, I mean, it was a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great time. Also, just because I do understand, like, as somebody who is, I mean, he did swipe for my tits, but as somebody who is a kind person, or like a
Mm-hmm.
thoughtful person and a romantic, it's funny because I was already kind of thinking and working on material about what it is to be a sexual woman,
Yeah.
but also like a, not to how we're not seen as like people, right? As
Right.
you're a sex, you're just a whore. That's all you are, right?
Yeah, by
And so
society standards, for sure, for sure.
exactly, like you're not a human. You're not a woman. You're just a whore, and that's
Mm-hmm.
all you are. So to have sex with a man who was also very sexual, but like energetically there was a kindness to him. I was thinking about, like, I think that's what people don't understand with people that are sexual, that it's not also just purely like lust and which is
Mm-hmm.
fine. We should have lust and pleasure in life. Life is miserable. We should be
Right.
enjoying ourselves and our bodies and other people. But then the aspect of what it is to be a good lover is something that I don't think people understand. And there is a kindness aspect to it. It's not purely just like being a public health risk,
Yeah.
but but then also it's true, like I do feel like I now when I swipe, I do kind of swipe differently
Mm-hmm.
after having that conversation, because I never thought to look for a kind person.
So you're looking more in the eyes now, like a
Well,
little deeper.
I do a lot of vetting periods. I don't like to waste time.
Right,
I have
right.
a Cancer and I have a Cap Moon, so I am very much about like, don't
Quick,
waste my
quick.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, and just I don't like having a lot of people in my space. I don't like
Yeah.
I don't just fuck anybody in the first place. But it was a different layer of like, oh yeah, because also it's like if you have good sex with somebody and you're used to it, then you don't confuse or like you don't become like digmatized, or you don't it's not, it's just a good night. Like I'm glad that we hung out and then I had this great night with him. But I
Right.
also have good sex a lot. I could also recognize that, oh, he's coming with a different energy and a different vibe, right?
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
you're someone who doesn't have really good sex a lot, those are the people that then like end up freaking out and getting weird and thinking like becoming emotional about it, and you're like,
And shameful
yeah,
probably too.
yes,
Probably really shameful. There's so much shame attached to it. It's the same thing with like and I know I've heard you say you're not a marijuana user, right? You don't smoke weed?
not often.
Not
If I
often.
need to fall asleep, but I don't,
Yeah.
because it just makes me sleepy. I wish I
Yeah.
could like enjoy it, but yeah,
But there's so much stigma around marijuana. There's so much stigma around sex. There's so much stigma because we are a society that pushes all those, what's the word I'm looking for? Vices. We're a society that
mm,
pushes all those vices forward, but nobody talks about using them. You know what I mean?
mm,
And when people do talk about using them, it's like, oh my God, she smokes weed. Oh my God, she has sex with multiple men a week. Oh my God, she does this. She. And it's pretty gross. I'm glad we're at a point now where we're kind of expanding out of that.
yeah,
People are breaking down those shameful stereotypes, but yeah, I mean, to get somebody who you can keep this rapport with up over WhatsApp afterwards and get a little insight from him, and he's a cool person, I mean, that makes you international.
yeah.
That's
It's
international.
yeah. I mean, he is a Capricorn, so I'm just like, oh, he's just trying to figure out his life. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he hasn't said anything like, oh man, I've been thinking about your pussy ever since. Which is also funny because for him, it's like, okay, this thing happened, he's moving on, and then I'm like constantly working on bits. So I almost feel
You got the
like,
comic brain.
yeah, I almost feel like I wanted to be like, if this man knew how much I'm thinking about him in that night, but not in a sexual way,
Right.
just literally in like a, oh, okay, well, what should I, and this, and how would I, was this part funny? Da, 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 da. But yeah, he was cool. You know, I do like that he was somebody who was about, he said he was like on Tinder, because I was like, yo, what do you want to do? Because some men just chat. Men are lonely.
Yes. Yes,
So
they
I was,
do.
that's why I like to be very clear. I was like, what
Hmm.
do you, if we hang out, what do you want to do? And he gave me a very Capricorn answer, which was not very sexual, but very strategic. He was like, listen, we happen to be together here in this moment of time, and you know, who knows if it will ever happen again. We can share a night together, blah, blah, blah. And then I literally was like, oh, I was like, oh, that's not the answer. I was thought you were gonna be like, I want to put my mouth on your tits or something. And he was like, well, that too.
He came with like the prolifics.
Yeah, I mean that's where I was like, you're used to like, I live in Harlem, so I'm like, you're
Yeah.
used to like fucking uptown fuckboys. So I'm like, what
Yes.
what are we doing? Are you sucking my tits or what's happening?
I had to
Um,
block a Harlem Uptown fuckboy because
oh, I
honestly,
bet.
we've hung out in the past once or twice, and then all it was just at 11 o'clock every like week and a half or so, it'd be like, hey, hey. And you're like, hey, what's up? Do you want me to come over? Do you want to hang out? Do you want to get drinks again? But it's just like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, oh, he's just starting the conversation so he can jerk off and go to sleep and we'll never see each other. So
Oh God,
I had to
yeah.
block him from my stories, and I stopped following him, and I blocked him from texting me because I'm like, I can't do it with the haze.
No, it's annoying.
It's so
What
annoying.
is this? Wait, don't waste time. Don't
No
waste my
wasting
time.
time. I'm very much on that wavelength with you. And so you and that story was wild. I was living Me and my vagina were living vicariously through yours.
It's a great time.
But you, so that was in Mexico, and you happened to spend a lot of time in Mexico, which I have spent not as much time, but I did backpack through there for 23 days once.
Wow.
So I'm gonna name the cities I went to, my tour de Mexico, and you tell me if you have been there. Mexico City,
Not yet.
that's where I started. Flew
Oh,
into Mexico
amazing.
City, went down to Puebla.
Oh yeah, no, but there are a lot of people in New York from Puebla.
Yes, yes. One of my best friends, her boyfriend is from Puebla, so shout out to Angel. And so we have Puebla, and then from Puebla I went to Oaxaca.
Oh yeah, no. I
Great
haven't
food city.
Oh no, of course. I was supposed to go this year, and then there were like protests in a hostage
Mm,
situation in the airport. And I was like, bitch, you have enough stories. You don't need a
yeah.
hostage airport story. And I was alone. So I was like, nah, but I do want to go to, well, at some point,
Yeah,
I'll
it
go
was
back.
nice. The food was great there. The atmosphere was great there. And but I think they have had an earthquake pretty recently too, so that's
Oh.
heartbreaking and scary. From there to Palenque.
Oh no. No, you're going you've been all the places that I want to go though. Palenque's
Yes.
it looks beautiful. It's in Chiapas, right?
Yes, yes, and it's by the
Yeah.
rainforest. I will say it's like okay, this sounds stupid, but it's very hot. Like where Mexico is hot, of course, there
No.
felt like to me, I'm glad I spent the least amount of time in Palenque because it felt to me that you couldn't get any refuge of cool air anywhere. Maybe
No.
in the hotel or the hostel I was staying at, but otherwise it was just like that sticky heat with no escape.
Oh.
From Palenque to Merida.
Oh, I love Merida.
Yes, went there, did the
Yeah.
cenotes there.
Yeah.
That was really fun. And from there to Tulum,
Oh, well, yeah.
more cenotes, and couldn't go in the water in Tulum because the seaweed was so high when I
Oh,
went.
yeah. It's a whole issue, like for a good part of the year, and
Yeah.
like no one talks about it. I'm part of all these, like, I'm part of not two different like expat
Uh
groups.
huh.
One of them just a regular expat group for like for Playa del Carmen, and then the
Mm
other one is a black expat group,
hmm. Mm hmm.
which I do have a lot of issues with them because it's like just because we're not in America doesn't mean there aren't problems here.
Right.
And it's kind of like if you bring up anything, they're like they will kick you out and like shut you down. They're like, this is a pro Mexican group. And I'm like, okay, but I mean, no one else has been treated like shit down here. Like, are we
Yeah.
not gonna talk
Address that.
about race issues in this country? Like in a black expats group? Are you insane? Anyway, but yeah, so I've learned a lot from being part of those groups. So now I know the seasons, like yeah, when the seaweed is
Mm
bad.
hmm.
And it's getting worse and worse and worse with like
It's terrible.
environmental changes.
It's terrible because it's so beautiful. The beaches in Tulum are right by the ruins and all,
Yeah.
all of that. And so you think like I'm looking at all these ruins right on the water and I can't even jump in the water afterwards. It's so wild, but I did I loved it. I loved it a lot when I was there. I actually extended the trip in Oaxaca. I was supposed to leave probably 2 days while from when I was in Oaxaca and then extended it for another week. So that was cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I would say this. I do feel like my time traveling down there alone is done because I have
Gotcha.
been through too much stuff. And
Yeah.
it's been like 10 years. That's why I'm just like, okay, the way that I feel is not just like I had one bad experience on one trip. I've had so many bad experiences
Mm.
or just uncomfortable experiences, just like being disrespected or whatever, that I'm like, it's to do it alone as a woman and then also as a black woman is
Right.
it's I'm like, all right, guys, we're done. That's how I feel about Mexico now. I'm like, okay, got it. Because people do feel I think emboldened because I'm alone and because I'm a
Mhm.
woman.
Mhm.
So the way that I'm treated, the way that I'm spoken to, if I were a man, they would never. Because
Yeah.
especially like Playa, Tulum, like that whole part, the Yucatan and Quintana Roo, that part of Mexico. I mean, the dudes are tiny.
Yeah.
They're child size, like
Exactly.
so they would never to a man my height, they would never because they know if they tried the shit, if they did, they would get their asses kicked. But
Yeah.
since I'm a woman, there's a whole nother dynamic where they
Mhm.
feel like they can be a certain way or just in general people can I've had a lot of I mean I don't want to speak I don't want to I'm not shitting on Mexico but
Absolutely
I've
not.
I've also been through enough where I'm like okay like got it. Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Like we're not like I've been traveling for almost yeah, I've been traveling internationally for almost 16 years
Yeah.
now. And most of my trips have been solo trips and I've just never gone through I've never first of all traveled a place repeatedly and never made friends. And like going from, I'm like, I got no friends. I got men that I have fucked and blocked on WhatsApp. That's all I have in
Yeah.
Mexico. I've made no friends at all. Maybe like some expats that are comics that I knew but that still doesn't count really.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, I'm like, it's just not, nobody's trying to be cool with you. And then
Right.
I've just had a lot of experiences where I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not a sideshow act. You can't stare at me. You can't touch my hair or point and laugh at me. It just after,
It doesn't
but
feel good.
also, no, it feels like you feel like
Yeah.
shit. And
Hmm.
then it's also like, hey man, I'm also just trying to relax. I'm not trying to figure out exactly why the psychology of why I'm being treated a certain way when I'm just,
The psychology of that is a balancing act. The psychology of, am I in danger right now? Or is
yeah,
this just a passerby? The psychology of being alone. It's too much to juggle. And I'm going to assume, because you said you've been going to Mexico for about 10 years, I'm going to
yeah,
assume that the negative experiences may have started to ramp up as the years have
yeah.
gone on, because if you've been going for so long, the positives must have been outweighing the negatives, and now it's hit a point where that's not the case.
Yeah, now I'm just like, all right, guys, I got it. Like I'm just like, message received.
Right.
And I actually stopped like 2 years ago. I had almost every day of that trip that I went down to Playa. Men were pointing, screaming, yelling at me from cars, laughing at me, like
Jesus.
trucks full of men. Almost every day this
Yeah.
happened, and I
That's
was
so
like,
scary. That's scary in your own turf. Never mind.
exactly. And that's the thing. Some people be like, whatever, just ignore it. And I'm like, how am I supposed to ignore as a woman alone in a foreign country,
Mm-hmm.
in a place where, not for nothing, but there are issues with femicide, there
Mm-hmm.
are issues with kidnapping. How am I supposed to just ignore a whole car full of men screaming at me,
Yeah.
pointing at me, laughing at me, or just drawing attention to me?
That's not right.
So that hope happened almost every day of a trip. And I was like, all right, I'm done. But then, last year America got to be way too much. And I was like, I needed to go to the fucking beach. It was the only place open. So that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, I was going down there. I was like, all right, at least if I'm going to go someplace I feel comfortable in Playa, I've been coming down here and know where the grocery stores are. Cool, 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 cool. But after this last trip, I was like, hey man, the whole world's open again. So like, I
You have to
don't
limit yourself.
feel like paying to be disrespected. Like
Yeah.
I'm not one of those tourists who's like, I'm American, roll out the red carpet. But I'm also like, I don't want to come back from a place and feel stressed.
Yeah. No, you shouldn't. And you shouldn't have to take that, because it's I think people don't understand, it is to walk out the house as a woman is scary enough. To go
Yeah.
to the store, to do that in a place that you feel comfortable. So
Yeah.
yeah, that probably had to weigh heavy on you, and that is it's a shame that that happened, because obviously this is a place that you love very much, and
Yeah, I mean Mexico is beautiful. It's
yeah,
dope, but it's just become too much where I'm like,
right.
but I also know if I went with somebody else
It
that
would feel differently.
yeah, I mean also it's just a matter of like I do speak Spanish.
That I was going to ask you that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but it's in some ways it's like a curse and a blessing because I learned my Spanish in Cuba. I speak Cuban Spanish. It's
Hmm.
different. I slow down when I'm there because otherwise it's
Yeah, yeah.
like I can speak different. So I do like adjust my Spanish. I don't say any words that I know that are specifically Cuban, whatever, whatever. But because I'm black, it's like a constant struggle for people to speak to, even if they don't speak English, they'll still just try. Like the mentality is like, oh, you're black, so you speak English, and then like literally, I'll be having a 5 minute long conversation with a cab driver, and then they'll switch all of a sudden,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what happened? What's
Did you not hear how I was just
Yeah. They'll
speaking
be like,
Spanish?
oh, you speak Spanish? And I'm like, we've been speaking Spanish the whole time. Does my Spanish sound like English? And they're like, oh, I mean, that right there, like all day of that, you're like, I've had it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm tapping out.
Yeah, I've worked very, very hard to be able to communicate and then to have constant like you can't like you're not gonna speak Spanish. And it's like I learned Spanish from people who look like me. That's
Right.
also blows my mind too, where I'm like, there's so many black Latinos and
Yes.
Afro Latinos. I'm just like, oh, I'm like, okay, if they came down here, they'd be going through the same shit that I'm going through.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or because I have a Cuban accent, they'll think if they don't like Cubans, then I get a whole nother world of discrimination where I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'm just trying to buy some fruit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why we're getting into all this shit. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to buy something. We don't need to get into like geopolitics and
And
it's
where
a
does
lot.
it sounds like a lot. And where does the Cuban, you said you speak Cuban with that accent and everything. Where did you learn that?
Oh, I
Was that
learned
an
it in
influence?
Cuba.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
stayed there for a long time?
I've been to Cuba 11 times.
11
And
times.
then I would
Wow.
stay for like months.
Oh
And then
my
I had a
goodness.
Cuban boyfriend too.
Oh my God.
So
So it was just pile on after pile on. Of course you learned it.
yeah. So and I will say this, I mean, sometimes you go to a place and you appreciate or it cements your connection to other places.
Yeah.
And I've always felt like as soon as I landed in Cuba, I was like, oh, I had a very emotional
Mm.
response. And I've always said Cubans are very special people and like
Yeah.
being in Mexico and just having that feeling that coldness, it just cements for me how much like how special Cubans are and how much like how connected I am with them and it's a mutual love back and forth because there's some of the I mean they have like nothing. Cuba is a very complicated country,
Yeah.
but the warmth is so real.
Yeah.
There are people that I'm friends with from my first trip and even they didn't know me on my first trip when I got sick. I get sick very easily.
Hmm.
I get my throat, I get sick very easily.
Yeah.
And on my first trip when I was sick and like my neighbor who was just taking care of like if I had any questions, whatever, looking after me, he went to the pharmacy. He's like, okay, if you go to the pharmacy, they won't sell you the medicine, give me the money, I'll go to the pharmacy.
I'll do it for
Just
you.
like those little things. And
Yeah.
then like when I get sick in Mexico, I'm like, bitch, you're alone. Figure it out. No one's
Yeah.
gonna help you. No one's gonna help. No one's
It's
gonna
a
even suggest some medicine. Like
right.
you have to figure it all out on your own. And
It's a big juxtaposition, it sounds like, between the two. Yeah. I also want to ask you a little bit because I've noticed quite a few times you've mentioned star signs.
oh yeah.
You're very into astrology, I take it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an old bitch. I look
That's
young,
okay.
but I'm 40. I don't have time to waste on certain signs. It's not gonna work for certain
Right.
signs.
There's just, you already know that through pattern and studying and just being.
Yeah. What sign are you, Rocky?
Would you want to guess?
I
I won't take offense to anything.
hmm. Ah. Are you a fire sign?
I'm not. No, I think I'm a fire rising, maybe. I'm
Uh,
you said you're a Cancer?
yeah.
Cancer is my rising, I believe.
Oh, oh my God! This guy was a Cancer. This is one thing I will say about the signs. Cancers. He was in a Capricorn, but a Cancer rising, and I do think that's also why the sex was so good.
Oh.
Because I don't know if you've hooked up with another Cancer.
I dated a Cancer for a long time, yeah.
It's intense. When I hook up with a Cancer, I understand why men become. I'm not saying this to like pat myself on the back, but men have become obsessive with me. And when I hook up with another Cancer, I'm like, oh, I get it, because it's a different vibe. It's a
Right.
whole different experience.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, especially being with it's like with another Cancer, I'm like, we're speaking the same language. It
So
is
would I be a Cancer, or that's just a small part of my.
that's a good part. That's why I think I've learned. I'm like, I don't know if I could be with another Cancer because it's a lot of
Gotcha.
emotion.
Yes.
Too many emotions and
Yeah.
I can't
No time
but
to
I
waste.
it's just a lot. It's fun but it's a lot. Like you dating can't bless your heart. I would say but now I'm like I feel like if I want a man who is a Cancer in one of his three, not
Okay.
sun, either like a moon or rising,
And then I'm
because
a Libra
Cancers, we are
moon.
pleasers usually. I don't know what your boyfriend was like, but generally we're pleasers. We love to please.
Right. Well, I'm a Libra moon.
Oh my God. You know what's funny? I was like, I feel like you're a Libra, but I didn't think you were a Libra sun.
Yeah, Cancer, Sun, Libra moon,
You are
then
a Cancer.
No. Cancer rising, sorry. Cancer
I'm in,
rising, Libra moon, and then
I can't tell.
I'm a Taurus.
Oh my God, I love Tauruses.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah.
You're one of the few signs. There are very few signs. Cancers where I mean, we can be a lot. And so when you look up like what our matches are, it's always like this sign, forget it. This sign, impossible. This sign, difficult. But
Yeah.
then they're like Taurus, Cancer, Taurus.
I
Oh, that
have
makes
seen that.
sense.
I've seen that
That
that was
makes
a good
sense that you're with
match.
a Cancer man. Okay,
Hmm.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, that's dope.
Yes, yes. Do you check any astrology daily or anything or no?
No, not
No.
daily. That's
No.
too much for me. But
Yeah.
I do know the signs that I vibe with.
Right.
Taurus, you guys are a good time. I
Yeah.
you know what I like also because a Taurus, my ex-husband's a Taurus.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, a Taurus, and we're still cool. Because he's very funny. I would never give up that free entertainment. He's hilarious. But Taurus, what I like about Taurians is and why we vibe well is because you guys are about the pleasures of the earth.
Oh, I love pleasure.
So like you work very hard, which I can't be with someone who's lazy. So I
Right.
love someone who's very hardworking.
Mm-hmm.
But you like to party and rest as hard as you work. So
Yes,
it's
all of
not
that is
just
true about me.
it's not yeah, it's not just work. It's like the balance of it. Like when you're resting, you are resting.
Yeah.
And then when you want to have a good time, you have a good time. Plus, you love food and you love sex.
Yes, I
Cancers, we love food and sex and we're nurturing, we love to cook. So it's like a perfect, it's like what like when I've chilled with a Taurus, I've been like I always want to feed them. I'm just like, what do you want to eat?
and I want to
I'll
eat.
cook you. I'll roast you a fucking chicken. Let's go. Yeah,
That's
that
so
makes sense
amazing.
that you dated a Cancer for a long time, but bless your
Yeah.
heart.
Yes, thank you.
Why?
So we'll get back into you a little bit. Do you have anything coming up that people can look forward to in the new year in 2022? What are some
Oh,
things that people can catch you in?
wow. Hopefully a relationship. That would be
I feel
someone.
that.
Someone could catch me in a. I would love it. I
It's
am.
time, right? I feel the same.
Oh, it's been time. I mean, listen. I'm glad now that I've danced with the devil. It's time. You know,
You're
I've done
ready.
enough.
Yeah.
I'm a Cancer man. I'm a relationship person, but
Yeah.
that's the thing. I've learned. I'm not just gonna be in some shit to be in some shit.
Right.
So that's a big anyway. But for on hopefully catch me in a relationship. But in a more realistic sense, I do think I'll be in America for the winter because I don't know. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but I do have a headliner series coming up at Tiny Cupboard
Tell us about it.
January 27th. So I'll be
Beautiful.
running a 45-minute set, which is very exciting.
January
Um,
27th. I have my calendar right here so
yeah,
we
I
can
think
let
it's
the
at 10
people
p.m.
know. Okay, January 27th. That's going to be it looks like a Thursday night. A
Yeah.
45-minute set. This the first time you've ever done a 45-minute set or have you done that in the past?
I've done well, I guess yeah, I've done long
Wow.
extended sets before, but it's with COVID, well just being in New York period, it's hard to
Yeah.
get the time. But it's been about 2 years. The last set that I ran was I think 37 some minutes.
Wow.
So I'm excited. I'm very excited because also like that was a set that I was already expanding. That set's called Filth and Racism. So I
Oh.
already was expanding on that even back then, but now there's like so much to add in. So I'm very,
Yeah.
very excited to run it and do it for a full 45. But yeah, that'll be great. And then other than that, just like regular shows, especially now it's like to prepare for something. It's like
Yeah.
I gotta get ready for the fucking 45. So I'm very excited about it.
That's congratulations to do 45 minutes. That's do you have your opening acts done yet? You know who's going to open for you or not quite yet?
No, not yet, but I'm
Not
hoping. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it's like just happened. I just found out on what's today, Sunday, like
Okay.
Friday. So I'm like, oh, amazing. Yeah,
That's huge news. I'm really happy for you. That's great. And that's a
thank you.
great way to kick off 2022. Well, Christiana, can you please let the people know where they can follow you online so they can keep up with the latest?
Oh yeah, the best, the thing that I update the most and still not enough is my Instagram, incomparable MSC.
Beautiful. So
Yeah,
check her Instagram out. Give her a follow. If you're in New York on January 27th, it's a Thursday at 8 p.m.,
10 p.m.
10 p.m. at the Tiny Cupboard, you will get to check out her big time 45-minute set. And that's a big deal.
Filth and
Big
racism. Yeah, it's gonna be a good
filth
time.
and racism. Christiana, I really, really appreciate you doing the show. I appreciate you sharing what was truly a wild night story. I hope that if you and El Diablo ever cross paths again, you'll just send me a message and be like, girl,
Oh,
guess who I just
oh my,
fucked?
yeah. Everyone will know if the devil wants to fuck me again. Everybody,
We know
he
he
was
definitely
fucking
does.
hot.
We just a matter of when and where.
Oh, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Fingers
Yeah,
crossed. Christiana, thank you so, so much for doing this show. We will talk soon, okay?
yeah. Thanks for having me. This
Of
was so much
course.
fun.
Yay. All right. I'll talk soon. Bye.